Hey guys, so today I have a book review of Second Chance Summer, which is a book by Morgan Matson. I haven't read anything of hers before. I don't even know what else she's written, but this book has been on my TBR since July of 2012. I checked my Goodreads to confirm, and I finally got around to reading it just days before 2015. So I'm trying to tick off books in my TBR, and I'm pretty proud about this one. I do have to say that I wish I had read this book back in 2012 when I first put it on my TBR, only because I feel as if I would have enjoyed it more maybe a few years ago. As of lately, I almost find that I'm kind of, in some books, in some sense, getting away from young adult because I don't feel I can relate to 17-year-old characters as much as I could to an adult character. And so I'm kind of transitioning into adult fiction and books like that. I mean, I still thought it was a really good book. I still gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I just wanted to share my thoughts behind that. So the main character in this book is a girl named Taylor, and truth be told, her character is a little boring and weak, but it doesn't make the book bad because it gives a lot of room for character development as the book progresses. So I kind of just bared with it in the beginning and kind of try not to be annoyed at Taylor as she kind of is learning more about herself and how to be a confrontational person and how to live her own life and how to grow her wings and fly, that type of thing. So just be patient with Taylor if you are thinking about reading this book and she gets you really mad at first. Just be patient with her because she's working through some things. This book starts off at the beginning of summer, and Taylor and her family are going to their lake house to spend the summer, where they used to spend the summer all the time, but they haven't been to the lake house in 5 years, and it's pretty much just because life got in the way. But her father was just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer 3 weeks before, so they have this last summer feel, and they're going to go spend it all together at the lake house. So as you can expect, there's a lot of family drama in this book, and a lot of the family learning how to be a family again because they've all been living their own lives for so long. Taylor's brother, for example, he is a whiz kid genius, and he spends all of his time studying and preparing for school and doing academic stuff and blah blah blah. Taylor's sister, Chelsea, which is weird to me because my name is Kelsey, is a ballerina, and she spends all of her time and devotes all of her energy to dance. And then I don't really know what Taylor does. Taylor doesn't really have a thing, but regardless, they don't really come together as a family very often. Her dad is a workaholic, but the one thing I'm happy about in this book, it doesn't paint her dad as a horrible workaholic who never loves his children, etc., etc., and then she has to deal with those issues. It kind of just paints a realistic picture of a father who really loves his job, and as a result, he doesn't spend as much family time with him, but Taylor doesn't resent him at all for any of that, which I'm so thankful for because that easily could have been, a plot, a subplot within this book, her getting over all this hurt from her father, but there's absolutely none of that, which I'm so thankful for. But this is the summer that they actually really get to know each other on a different level than they have before. So they kind of start this little tradition. Her father and her go to this diner and they eat breakfast together, and there's questions on these placemats where they eat, and so they just ask each other these questions, and they learn some random things about each other they've never known. But then Taylor also just gets to hear her father tell her stories he's told her 20 times in before. So it's a really great bonding time in the story. And as you can expect, her father is dying. He has 3 months to live, so he's slowly deteriorating throughout the summer, and it's just Taylor's processing these changes in her father. The father really is an amazing character, and I just have to share one of my favorite things about him. He embodies the dad jokes, and he loves puns. So Taylor is the only one who really likes the puns and kind of puns back and forth with her father. So it's just, I love puns too. I love cheesy jokes. I love anything like that. So I was so excited to read about a dad who was a dad, making those dad comments. It's so much fun to read about, and I seriously loved that part of the father. Now, while there is all this family drama obviously going on, Taylor is dealing with her own drama because 5 years ago when she left, the last time she left the lake house, she had a boyfriend who lived next door, and she had a best friend who lived across the lake from her. And she ended things very badly with them. She left both of them without saying anything, and it was because her best friend also really liked the boy that Taylor was dating, but her best friend didn't know Taylor was dating him, and so instead of confronting the issue and like explaining herself and apologizing to both of the parties and like mending any wounds that she had made, she just left without saying anything. So she came back to this scene 5 years later, and her ex-best friend Lucy kind of hates her guts, and then her ex-boyfriend Henry also kind of hates her guts and doesn't know her deal. So Taylor is forced to deal with, you know, stuff that she thought would be in the past and just would never be dealt with, and she just kind of hopes she could like live her life without ever having to confront some things that she's done to hurt people. So she's working through that while she's dealing with the imminent death of her father, and it is a lot for one girl to handle. Under the circumstances, I think she kind of was doing the best she could. I did appreciate the romance actually between Taylor and Henry when it finally became a thing again, and Taylor kind of admitted all of her past feelings and past hurts and gave explanations and kind of like decided to face the truth and the reality of what she could actually have a say in doing. And she kind of mends her relationship with Lucy, which is so good to see. These are character traits that she's developing here this summer that hopefully are going to carry her like through the rest of her life. And she has had always this horrible habit of running away from things when it gets tough. Like as a kid, she used to run away when people would get mad at her. She always, when everything got like too stressful or she felt like overwhelmed, instead of sitting there and like talking with someone about it, she would just leave. So this summer she's kind of forced to sit down and face her problems and deal with them, and yes, you need to do that. Everybody needs to do that. Very important lesson. So eventually she got there. I'll give her that. As much as I did feel like this book dragged on, the book kind of spanned 3 months, I believe it was. But I think it was kind of important for it to have that kind of like slow feeling, because it would have been unrealistic for Taylor to have come to terms with all of these things going on in her life, you know, within a week. So it was kind of, I guess, a good thing that it did have that like slow pace, because a fast pace would have been more unrealistic and dramatic than the book really needed. I mean, the book had enough drama on its own. And I think another take-home message from the book, which I'm going to quote Jack Dawson here, is to make each day count. And that's something Taylor also learned this summer as she's making each day count with her father, each day count with Henry and Lucy, and the summer that she has close with her family, her brothers and sisters, etc. And it's just making each moment of your life count. So that is my review of what book did I read again? Second Chance Summer. Thanks for watching and happy reading.